I've come to fix up R2 and look, there's a chopper there, which is usually not good news. That usually means someone's crook. Oh, you can't see that. I don't know how to zoom in, but anyway. So there are bits that I've got to fix on R2. So first of all, that broke off, so I've got to fill that in. That's a bit of touch-up paint. I realised later that it doesn't appear to me that we ended up painting silver around the rim there. See that gap? So I'm going to have to fix that. Then I've got to put the tubing in there from there to there in each of them, and that's actually no mean feat. That's actually quite episodic in and of itself. So let's have a look at what else I've got to fix and touch up. Look, that's a bit painful. All right, I can fix that. I couldn't face this for a lot of days after we installed him because I was just so over it. There we go. That has broken as we installed him. And then I don't know whether I can be bothered to get into there. Maybe I should. I don't know. From here, the other thing that's bothering me is he's meant to have one of those, see that spouty thing that sticks out there? Whether I can show you. But he's meant to have one on the top, and I forgot to put it on before we installed him. Dope. So maybe one day I'll get down here. Oh yeah, I probably should do another coat of that thing that I installed there. But apart from that, there's just a few little, it just doesn't look neat. It looks just a bit messy there. While I've got the silver paint out, I'll go that. Gosh, you can hear that, look. That means that the helicopter's here for people who are injured or ill in the hospital. So that is landing at the hospital over there. I hope they're okay. This is a small country town, so it doesn't happen that often. So we usually know the person who's unwell. So I hope they're going to be okay. All right, is there anything else that I need to fix before? Sorry about the reflection there. Is there anything else obvious that I need to fix? I can't see anything else obvious. That's good, finally. No one's poked holes. Oh yeah, I've got to actually do something there because there was a bit that was sticking up there and I must have chopped it off or something, so I'm going to have to fix that too. Right, let's do this. Listen, I have tried and I have tried and I have tried to stick things in this bit, and I'm sorry it's not real close, but I'm actually going to get sticks that are just on the ground and stick them in so that there's something for maybe the substrate to hold on to, which is I'm going to use epoxy sculpt, which I'll show you in a sec. I did bring wire, but I didn't bring any clipper things to clip the wire. So maybe between all of those hanging there, when I use my epoxy sculpt, it will have something to hold on to. Let's try that. Okay, if you've never seen epoxy sculpt before, this is one that I've just got off the internet. So there's two parts to it. You get equal parts and you put them together just like you would with plasticine, and it forms a plasticine. And then you can sculpt it to anything that you want. You could also probably do the same with builder's bog, but it just seems weird to do builder's bog like on a sculpture, don't you think? Well, maybe you can, but that's a very expensive way to go. I think it's all expensive, which is why I've developed my own stuff to use, or just use plain old cement render because it works. Well, to a point it works. So I'm just pulling out some's from section A, and all I've got to do is pull out roughly the same quantity of section B. Seal that one up. They're not supposed to set on their own without their companion, I suppose. I think it's like when you have those glues that you mix the two glues together and then it sets really hard. It's kind of like that, I guess. I should know the science behind it, but I'm more of a biology teacher than a chemist, so. They don't quite look the same size. As long as they're about the same size, you're good to go. Doesn't have to be exact, I don't think. Well, someone will probably correct me. So I've got 2. Now, I don't know how you're supposed to do this, but I have found it the easiest way, because usually I just tend to, not mean to, but I kind of tend to sculpt in winter. I don't know what's wrong with me. And then these things aren't very malleable. Now, believe it or not, you can use water. So I'm just going to add water. Just a little bit of water kind of just helps it not stick to the gloves, and it helps it sort of flatten out and become a bit more maneuverable. I don't know what I've already got stuck in there, but I've already got bits stuck in there. So I'm just flattening that one out, and then I'll flatten out a bit more water. I'll flatten out the other section after I've added a bit more water, because I just find that they're easier to mesh together if they're flattened out rather than 2 balls. So if I put them on top of each other and then roll them together and then mush them, the whole idea is the whole thing needs to be really well mushed together. Basically, more or less like a consistent colour. And since they are 2 different colours, I think they design them that way that you can sort of tell that they're pretty well mushed. This is the bit that I find exceptionally frustrating, but that's why I only limit it to portions of the work that I do, because if I do it in 2 bigger sections, who the hell has time to sit here and mush 2 bits of clay together all the time? I don't. Anyway, we're getting there. You can see that. But I'm getting there. This is the colour it's turning out to be. Mushing, more mushing. I'm just going to add a tad more water. I just find it helps. I don't know whether you're supposed to, but it's just what has worked for me. I don't know. The more you mush it, the more sort of malleable it comes. And then I don't know what the working time is, but I've usually only do it in small batches and use the batch as I'm going within the hour or so. It does tend to get harder over time. All right, so I've mushed my sculpting clay. So now I'll see, I don't have anything to put this on, but I'll see if I can zoom maybe so you can see what I'm doing up here. I have used and used and used this tool in all my sculptures so many times. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm just going to get a bit and work in at a time. Try to stuff that. What on earth is that? What on earth is that? I didn't touch anything. It's got goop in it. What goes on? Honestly. All right, I'm going to try to start by pushing some of this in to where I want it, and then I'll go on top of that for the rest of it, which is not ideal, but I don't know how else to do it. Now, what you need to know is I am no professional sculptor. I just trial and error things and do it really frightened, as you know. Mostly everything I do, I really don't know what I'm doing. I just give it a go and see if it works. And I have not been in the headspace to do this until today because it was so much work to repair R2 after the storm damage that I just couldn't face it. But I really felt like facing it today, so maybe that's a tip. If you're I suppose that's for anything, not even if you're an artist or a sculptor or whatever. Face it. Why did I feel like facing it today? Well, I've been working on something else which has been really challenging for me and quite difficult, and it was nice to have the thought of coming back to do something that I know how to do, which is this. And I only know how to do it through all the trial and error that I've had, as I've said. I would never have known how to do this had I not just got in there and had a go. Did I look at what to do on the internet? Yeah, I did. I did watch some channels about sculpting polystyrene and what they use to coat it with. And there was one that I really valued the most, and I've never been able to find it again, but it was a group or a company had sculpted like a feature from a game, and I think it was like a big dragon creature, and they showed like how they built him, how they did the internal structures, how they coated him, and they coated the whole lot of him in this stuff, which is epoxy sculpt. But they had a team of artists that could do that, and plus the whole surface of him was quite textured, and so it didn't matter that all the joins and stuff of what they did for this, with their sculpting, like mine kind of matters. Well, that looks bloody awful up close, but I guess once it's painted, it'll look all right. But at the moment, she don't look real flash. So that one thing was the thing that showed me how to do this, what to do, and I went, oh yeah, I can give that a whirl, which is where I started my sculpting journey, more or less. Showed me how to sculpt the polystyrene, what to do. They built the internal structures based on like digital planning. I obviously can't do digital planning, I've got no bloody idea, but I'm good at spatial reasoning, so I could plan things out, like at least on paper, and go from there. Oh, I've just broken that. Oh, this is so frustrating. This is the trouble with coating it in something that, relatively speaking, is a little bit flimsy to start with, because it just wants to keep breaking. On the edges, that is, not everywhere else, but on the edges it's quite happy to just keep breaking, and I don't want it to keep breaking. Okay, there's a little bit in there that I've got to do. You possibly, sorry, I am terrible at doing this up close when I'm looking at it. There's a bit there that I've still yet to do. So we'll get in and do that bit just here. I think I've got just enough, and there's a bit of wire in there ready to hold the substrate for me to be able to do that just. Oh, I don't think I've got enough. Of course I don't have enough to fill in the whole thing, but that's okay, because I'll mix up some more. Part B. Sorry I went quiet there for a minute. It's just that there was a man at the toilet block there who probably thinks I'm crazy for filming. This is a stop where people often stop to go to the toilet. There's another one stopping. So there's my parts. I think I need a bit more part A, and I'll flatten them out just same as last time, because I do have other sections that I need to use my epoxy sculpt for, so I'll do that today. Hey, how are you?
Are you one of these people that find that?
No, I'm the creator.
Of this?
Yeah, I built him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Believe it or not, I'm the principal of the high school, Shelley.
Oh, okay.
Shelley's my name.
Oh, how are you?
Well, I just had a gentleman stop by, and he said that he'd run across some people who had found those, I don't even know what they're called, the things that where people go searching all around the world to find these little trinkets in various locations and sign the thing to say that they were there and they had found it. And apparently there was supposed to be one under or near him. But we only installed this a week ago, and I hadn't seen anything because I was the one who pulled him to pieces, and put him back together with the men's shed, and we never saw a thing. So I don't know. But you're welcome to use it for that. Had I known that you guys do anything like that, if you know what that thing is called, please leave a comment. But had I known that people do things like that around him, I would have left a compartment in him for that to happen, but I didn't sort of realise that. So I'm just fixing the bits and the bops, like I said. And, sorry. I'll keep fixing my bits and bops. So today I'd like to mention, if you're interested in helping your community in any capacity, like I'm doing mine with art, but you could do yours in any way you want. If you're interested in helping your community, and you've got like a passion or something that you enjoy, something that you really like to do, you might like going walking. Well, what's to stop you from having a great walking group and a community in a walking group? Seriously, what's stopping you? Nothing. You might really like gardening, but you're a gun gardener, your garden is already fantastic. Well, what's stopping you from gardening, offering to help people in their gardens for free, if that is of interest to you? Or, there's always plenty of ways. You've also got to figure out what motivates you. And for me, contributing motivates me. It doesn't necessarily, money doesn't necessarily motivate me, but then, or you've also got to figure out, well, what motivates you? And then use a bit of a combination of, well, what motivates you and what do you enjoy doing and what things light you up where you lose track of time because you just really enjoy these things. And then make a start, really, is all I can suggest. Well, that's what I've done, and that's what I continue to do, is baby steps at a time, just work on the things that give you joy. And I like to look at, what are you passionate about and what makes you feel good? And if it makes you feel good to give, then do something that you're passionate about that also makes you feel good. And that's why I do my art. If I was doing my art just for money, I don't think it would have the same effect. Doing art for money, and maybe this is just writing on my wall because my beautiful Nan, who I absolutely adored, who came from a small country town, in her later years she became very arty and artistic, and she painted, and she would do some great landscapes, just really, really nice landscapes. But unfortunately for me, She was from a really small country town in the middle of nowhere, you know, and when I was a kid in the 70s, her advice to me was, well, you can never make a living out of being an artist, so what do you want to do? And that writing on my wall, I suppose, just at the time absolutely crushed me. Oh, and it did. And so I don't know whether it's because I still have that writing on my wall, even though I've tried to clear it and fix it, that I'm not motivated to do any of this for money. It could be that, but I don't know. I'm just going with where I'm at the minute, and where I'm currently at is here. I'm currently here, and I currently enjoy doing this for the town. At this stage, it's all at my own cost. Like when I built Bumblebee, which I'll add here, when I built Bumblebee the transformer, he cost me personally about $2,000 between the foam and then all the coating and the structure on the inside and the painting, just the whole thing. It cost a fair bit to put him together, and I really would like to not pull that off. But anyway, if I do that, and maybe that can glue it. I don't think it's going to glue, but let's hope it can do something. Oh, you bugger. So here's my question to you. What do you really enjoy, and what do you value? Your values are the things that are just non-negotiable. The values is generosity a value for you? Is accountability a value for you? Is being kind a value to you? If you go on the internet, you'll find a whole suite of values that you can assess yourself against, and you can determine, is that something that's important to you or not? And if it is, then you can combine that with the things that you enjoy doing, and then when you do those things, that's when you start to feel genuine fulfillment. Now, as I've said before, it is not without fear. Fear will be with you usually no matter what you do. Anything worthwhile doing is frightening to do. That's what I have typically found. So if you're looking for a life where you have fulfillment without fear, it doesn't exist. I'm sorry. But if you are looking for a life of genuine fulfillment, then there's a good chance you can get it, but you will have to face your fears. But what I have found, and as I've said before, and I don't know whether it was on this channel, because I do these things, and I'm afraid all the time because I'm always doing these things, I have this sense of fulfillment and accomplishment afterwards, I guess. And that itself is so rewarding because I feel like I have actually achieved what I was aiming for. And in this town, my current aim is to try my guts out to help drought-proof this town. Because I think people just get in this mindset that a drought's going to happen and they're all going to suffer. And I've seen it. My gosh, I have seen it. I've seen it firsthand, but I've seen it from the young people's perspective, not from the farmers' perspective. I've seen it from the young people because I'm a high school principal at the time of recording this, and I have seen what it does to the kids. And it is so hard. It is so hard on them. And I don't mean to dismiss that it's very hard on the farmers and the families and then all the businesses that are supposed to rely on the industry around there, like all of the businesses that usually have an income as a result, like all the people who do fertiliser spreading and the people who supply, like agribusiness that supply all of the stuff. When there's no rain, there's no income. And this is why I'm doing this, because if I can achieve my crazy mission, which you got to start somewhere, but my crazy mission is to make this a thriving place where tourists can't wait to come, because it is so groovy, because they come to initially see the features here, and I have no control over what businesses appear here, but in my mind, if they come for the art, then there's a good chance for other businesses in town to flourish. And then not only that, I'm a big thinker, but being the high school principal I am, if there's more businesses, there's more industry, and if there's more industry, there's more opportunity for jobs for my kids for my school, because I'm the high school principal. This is my thinking. So on that, if you would like to help out, and if you think, well, how can I help this person? Who is this one crazy person trying to save her town at this stage? Well, I'm not entirely on my own, because I do have help from the men's shed. Occasionally they do help me out, and I've had some very kind offers from people to help me with bits and bops, which is lovely. But my constant ongoing mission is to keep this town drought-proof, and to help, oh my gosh, there's more there, and to help this town survive all the droughts to come, and they come so frequently in Australia. So this is my small bit in order to try to help my town overcome a drought that hasn't happened yet, in the chance that people might want to come here. Now, I've got huge plans. Now, you may have heard this in my last video, but I'm going to keep telling you my plans because they are nuts. I have huge plans. Oh, look, it's really hard to explain without showing you, but I'm working on bees at the moment that light up at night, and they're huge, and they are meant to hang in the trees, and they look like they're flying. So in my mind, if we have a park somewhere that has the huge flying bees and they light up at night, well, how wonderful. And then a business can be set up underneath it for nighttime, so people might want to come here at night. Like if someone sets up dining outdoors, or a wood-fired pizza in the park, like there is an industry that could actually function. Ironically, I used to run pizza shops before I became a teacher, but maybe someone will. Like, it's a great little business that someone could have underneath the bees. So that's the next thing that I'm working on, is the bees. And then after that, I'm so excited. I've got his skeleton ready, but I am doing Darth Vader, and he will be standing there with his chokehold like this so that tourists can come and have photos in front of him. I think that is so funny. And you're thinking, what does that have to do with bees? Well, around this area, Varroa mite started to hit, which is the thing that kills the bees. Luckily, it doesn't hurt our native bees, but it does hurt the bees, the other bees, which is all the honey producing bees mainly, like the regular bees that were introduced. And so Varroa mite is like, well, Darth Verroader. Like, how great is that? That's the connection to the bee theme. I love it. I think it's so funny. And then, I mean, what's Darth without some stormtroopers? So I'm just going to do some yellow and black stormtroopers. And again, what does it have to do with bees? Well, nothing apart from the colour. But then what does R2 have to do with bees? Nothing apart from R2B2. It's a pun. Ah ha ha. I think it's hilarious. Oh my gosh, I realise that many people are probably watching this rolling their eyes going, oh my God. But anyway, I think it's hilarious, and maybe tourists would like to come here and, and have photos in front of Darth and being marched off by the stormtroopers. Oh, I'm just mixing up some more here because I ran out. I think that is too funny, too funny. Anyhow, that's that one. I don't know whether I'll ever do C3PO. You would think that I'm Star Wars crazy, but I'm not. Star Wars isn't a thing, but I tell you what, they're really structural things to be able to build and make. And that is the draw card, because people want to come and see, you know, things that mean something to them, and things from their childhood, and things that are exciting, or superheroes or whatever. And you know, if they're into Star Wars, maybe they'll just come because it's Star Wars, or maybe they'll just come because they're retirees travelling around Australia and they've heard about this Darth Vader and stormtroopers somewhere, and they'd like to have photos to send to the grandkiddies being choked by Darth. Mind you, I'm so old. Do kids even know who Darth Vader is anymore, or stormtroopers? Like, probably not. I don't know. But anyway, I just think it's funny. And then after I have done them, and I'm probably going to have to, sorry, a car just pulled up. I'm probably going to have to figure out how to use fiberglass. Fiberglass scares me, but then everything is, you're probably looking going, well, you've done everything else that scares you. Yes, I'll probably get into fiberglass one day. What I didn't want to have to do is to figure out how to, when you fiberglass, you have to do a lot of sanding, and I didn't want to be exposed to glass fibres in the air, even though you wear the mask and everything. That was the bit that scared me. Still does. So I don't really know whether I want to do that, but I use glass fibres in what I'm doing here. I just wear a mask when I sand it back. Everything has to be sanded back. I wish it didn't have to be. I've seen those things where you use the hoppers that spray, and you can spray on like I don't know whether it's polyurethane, I don't know, something. It's the version that doesn't dissolve the polystyrene, because let me tell you, there are other things that do dissolve the polystyrene when you put it on. Here's a hot tip for you. If you ever sculpt with polystyrene, do not ever use any kind of oil-based paint. Please, I beg you, because if you do, you will be sorry. It dissolves it as you're going. That is not what you want. So I'm just going to see that bit there. It's hard to see, but that's the bit that I've got to fix there, because it is missing in action. This stuff isn't very gluey, it's just like a clay, but without the stickiness of clay. And so trying to put it in the spot that you want it to be, well, it's not that easy. Oh, and I was still telling you the things that I've got planned. Sorry, I digress. The other things that I've got planned beyond that, I can't wait to do this one. I wish I could do this one tomorrow, but I aim to do, because it's bee themed and insect themed, I want to do Ant-Man and the Wasp. And the Wasp is pretty obvious as to why you would do that here. Ant-Man less so. But you can't have the Wasp without Ant-Man. And so rather than doing a small Ant-Man, I want to do gigantic Ant-Man with half of his head coming out of the ground, and it will be about the size of my car is the head, and then a gigantic hand coming out of the ground as well, that people can take photos in the hand and in front of the head. And yeah. And I don't know yet what pose I would put the Wasp in, but I'd figure out a pose that people could take photos with that maybe look like they're being attacked, maybe, or something by the Wasp. I don't know. But these are the things that I find funny, and maybe people would like photos in front of. So these are, without doubt, things that I will be doing. I always follow through on the things that I want to do. I don't not. It just comes down to time. So if you would like to help, that would be great, because I work full time, and not worse than that, I don't just work full time. I've got a really big job, and I work 55, 60 hour weeks, so having the time to actually get this stuff done is very, very limited. All right, what else have I got to do? I've still got quite a bit of epoxy sculpt in my hand. I will do that one there. Well, as you can see, here's the hose that is meant to go from here around to the other side underneath his body. However, the new hose, which is all I could get, is too small to go on the outside, so I can't twist that in, which means that I need to put some polystyrene, glue that in there, some polystyrene, glue that in there, and then put some wire to reinforce it and then glue it on. Painful, very painful, but that's what I have to do to make this work. So I'm going to get on with that, and so now you know what I'm doing. You'll know why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it. The glue's gone hard in the tube. I even sealed the lid and everything, but it's gone hard in the tube. I'll try to knock that end off, see if that helps. Probably won't help, but I don't see an alternative to try to get any semblance of actual glue out of this thing. It's the only glue tube I bought because I thought that's all I would bloody need. But if not, then not, and I'll have to go and get some more. Damn it. Damn it. I'm always unlucky like this. Oh, typical. Right. Oh, she's tight. The tubing is just going to pull. I don't think I can make this work with the tubing that I have. This is the tubing I bought for like, I don't know, $38 or something, and the next tubing up was like $200. This is why I need donations. This isn't going to work. This is what I was mainly doing today. I am so frustrated. Okay, I can't even glue in these things in the bits that are vacant. Oh my God, this is so frustrating. I hate not being able to finish. I don't think that my hardware store is going to have any tubing, but I can't see a way around it. I'm going to go and have to look because I need more tubing that's longer than this. Well, it's the next day. Yesterday I did go and get more tubing and it cost $45. It wasn't as expensive as I thought it would be. And they actually had tubing, which is great. But then I came back and I can't remember whether I put this in the last video, but all of the glue that I had was set in the flaming tube, one of like these things. Oh, that was so frustrating. So I now have my tubing and I'm going to try to get this done. The only thing that I didn't think of when I left, because I had to go visit the guy who helped build R2 and put him back together, and he wouldn't have been back, Tony, he's in hospital and very quietly had been in hospital for the best part of a week, and he didn't say anything. And I messaged him this morning and said, are you feeling all right? Well, you know, I haven't heard from you. Are you okay? No, he's not okay. He's in hospital. I've got to take him to a specialist tomorrow, 250 k's away. Anyhow, shivers, poor man. So this is, what I was going to say is that I didn't think to bring the hot water that I was going to bring, or boiling water, so that I could dip the tubing into the boiling water and screw them onto the fittings. I didn't think of that. I was going to do that. That was part of my intention. So these things, I was going to see whether I could screw that on. But I thought if I dip this in hot water, maybe I could actually screw that on successfully. And I didn't, because I've just been at the hospital. I'm not really able to get hot water from the hospital, but I'm just going to see whether I can do that. Ooh, that's actually working. Look, that's working. If I can get these to stay on because they're twisted on, that would be way better than trying to glue the damn things in. Awesome. So if you watch this channel, I don't know why, leave a comment. Do tell me, why do you watch this channel? I'd be very interested to know. Do you watch the channel because you're also creative and that you like that someone is thinking a bit differently and out of the box? Or do you like the channel, you like to watch it because it's just something in the background? Or do you like to watch it because the nature of this particular channel is that I'm doing something for the community? Or tell me, I'd really be interested to know your reasons for watching, because my goal is to get global interest in little teeny tiny Warialda about the cool things that I'm doing here, so that people might want to come here. Because like if you've seen cool stuff online, maybe you might want to come and check it out yourself. One day when you're eventually in the country or in Australia, maybe you might want to come and check it out. You know, I'd love to know if you came here because of the videos, or whether you just, how is it that you came across these videos in the first place? Is it because you came here and you saw the plaque, which isn't even up yet because I only dreamed that up the other day, and I made a QR code for donations if you willing to donate, that'd be great, because I do most of these on my own with my own money. Okay, I eventually got the hoses in place, but I didn't have footage of it because a lady stopped here and she started to talk to me, and I turned off the footage thing, and plus I was cross because it wasn't working. But anyway, and it's not ideal because some of them are longer than the others, but they're in place, and that's all I care about at this stage. So it has been bothering me so much that I hadn't done this epoxy sculpt, and now that I've done it, and that's pretty much all I had to do, I'm like, oh, is that all I had to do? Oh, it's done now. I'll come back and paint that once it's set, maybe tomorrow. And I'm pretty excited because I got some plaques made, and I've set them up so that I can install them and put them in place. I'm so excited. And hopefully I can do that tomorrow. I tend to struggle with this a bit. I did ask council if I could do this, but they didn't get back to me, and I don't know why, and maybe they're just busy, and maybe they didn't have a problem with it, which is why they didn't get back to me. I don't know. This is what I did today, so I'm just going to turn this around so you can see. And I went to a printing store and had, just locking my car, I had some printing laminated, and I'll show you. So I put this in the toilets all around Warialda, which is all about the YouTube that you're on now, and where they physically are in town and where they can go. And what I will do is every time I put up a new artwork, I'll just replace the posters to show people when they come to Warialda that there is this YouTube and where the artworks are. So I'm pretty happy that I've done that, but I sort of struggle, hang on, I'll turn that around. I sort of struggle that I have done that in some ways, and it's possibly because writing on my walls where my nan said to me that you can't possibly make a living out of being an artist, and like, you know, the whole idea is to get global interest in my town. And if I have global interest in my town, then anytime people do choose to come to Little Warialda, if people do choose to come to little tiny, also come to Australia, they might go, oh, I remember seeing this girl who does these crazy artworks in the middle of nowhere. Let's go out and check that out. So that is the mission, but I do kind of struggle that I have put up posters, because I figure if anyone comes through Warialda, they might stop at the toilet. So any public toilet in the town, I've put those posters up. But I kind of struggle because that's putting myself out there in a way. But the point is to get global interest in what's going on here, so that maybe if they come to Australia, they might want to come here. So on that, if you have friends, family, people that are ever planning to travel, ever, please pass this video on to them to show them here, because the whole idea is, this is why I donate the artworks, is to spread the word about what's here so that if people do ever travel, they might come here. Well, I am finally putting up the plaque at R2B2. We tried to do this yesterday, but our drill wasn't strong enough to drill into the cement, which was so frustrating. So a lovely, kind colleague has offered me his much more powerful drill, which I've now managed to do the holes, and I'm now going to attempt to put in dynabolts, but I didn't bring a hammer, so fingers crossed this works. Yeah, some of these holes are a bit off. Two goes in installing this. I'm closer than I was yesterday, but I'll put it back in my car and go get a hammer. Okay, I am back. Third time. Is that the number one rule if you're trying to actually do something hardware wise, that it takes 3 goes? Because, oh my gosh, it's taken forever. Okay, it's stable. The whole thing is stable. Oh my gosh. Let me just put all this here. After all that, I probably didn't even need the hammer, but anyhow. All right, let's have a look at this. Oh, this is so exciting. This is the bit that I have been waiting for. You're going to watch me do this, and I'm going to do it on the camera. So I get to finally take, let me put all this down. I get to finally reveal the plaque. Ta-da! And this might not mean anything to you, but let me just turn this around. This is a very exciting day. This is what I have been waiting for. There's my baby, my third child I call him, because I have 2 children of my own. But look, the plaque is finally installed, and it's got the QR code and the YouTube channel. Finally, he is installed with his plaque that explains precisely where he's come from. And yes, he's still R2B2, and yes, still associated with Warialda High School because I'm the principal, and the kids did help to paint him originally before he got completely destroyed in the storm. Oh my gosh, I am so pleased and so proud. I have finally installed the plaque with the donation code. I am so happy that that's in place now. So happy. Good. That has taken me ages. Okay, well, the next installment will be me in developing the bees. Now remember, the bees look like this. I'll show you that here. This is what they'll look like. My initial aim to start with is to do 10 bees. And once I've done 10 bees, then I will present those to council, and hopefully they can install them hanging from trees somewhere in the town, which will be very exciting. And my aim is to do that within 2 weeks. So, and I bought a little tool today to make that whole process way quicker. So, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I have finally installed him and finished. Even though I installed him last week, he wasn't finished. But now he's finished. All the bits that are broken off have been fixed. They've all been painted, and the plaque is in. Oh, I'm so relieved. Thanks for watching.